When we take tiny steps into any field of life, we keep on going forward, we keep on climbing on. Such is a journey of spirituality that you have to keep on escalating. And there are four lines of Kabirji that guide us step by step, and they keep on telling us how the new steps are supposed to be there, and we can't just stop where we are. Hi, my name is Davinder Singh, also known as Tony, and today I'm going to discuss four lines of Kabirji's shloks with you. Such fantastically, beautifully put lines. And the first line is, he says, Kabir roda hoiro बाट का तज मन का अभिमान ऐसा कोई दास होए ताहे मिले भगवान. If you want to be one with God, if you want to be one with the divinity inside you, then what you need to let go is your own ego. He says, Kabir roda hoiro बाट का. You become like a stone, not a marble, not a granite, but a stone that is on the path somewhere. It has no value because it has shed its superiority of any sort. And what is our superiority? If we are very good looking, if we have a lot of knowledge, if we have a lot of popularity or a lot of money, these are the things that add on to our superiority. Born in a high caste, so many things that have added on to our ego. He says, on the path of spirituality, the first thing you do is let go of your ego. Ask yourself, in the end, are you going to take anything along with you? Is this ever going to remain in the chapters of history, or you are going to stay? No. We are all ultimately going to become just ashes or dust, and it's not going to matter. So why be so egoistic, or why spoil relationships with people just because of our ego? Similarly, on the path of spirituality, the relationship, the one relationship that we are supposed to have with the divine within us, the only wall that is there is that of our own ego. And if we are able to constantly remind us and become as humble as possible, this journey begins from there. Roda hoiro batka, taj man ka abhiman, let go. Taj means let go. Man ka abhiman, the ego of the mind. Aisa koi das hoye, if you become such a servant, tahe mile bhagwan, that person can become one with the Lord. But now comes the interesting part of these four shloks. In the next shlok, he negates the older one. He says, Kabir roda hua ta kya paya, panthi ko dukh de. In the first line, he says, become like a stone. Then he says, no, stone is not enough. Because if you become a stone, you could still be an obstruction in somebody else's path. A lot of people become that. They just are so much into themselves, they don't come to know whether they have helped anybody or they have become an obstruction in somebody's path. He says, Roda hua ta kya paya. Even if you become a stone, so what? Panthi ko dukh de. You could be giving trouble or become an obstruction in somebody's path. Panthi ko dukh de. ऐसा तेरा दास है जो तरनी में खे. Such is your humble servant. He or she only becomes a dust. No, don't become a stone. Become a dust. The dust has no value, but also is along with the path, not an obstruction in anyone's path. In the third line, he negates the second one also. He says, Kabir, khe hui ta kya paya, jo ud lage ang. If you become dust, it's not enough. Oh Kabir, if you become dust, you could still be making other people's clothes dirty. This is something that happens with a lot of religious or spiritual people. When they come to a certain point, they start looking down upon the other people. If they are wearing white, then the colored clothes of other people become wrong. If they are religious and whatever religion they belong to, then other religions become wrong. Their mentality becomes so discriminating and so judgmental that instead of them being able to help other people with their simplicity and their knowledge, they end up only discriminating against other people. He says, no, you become a stone, not enough. You become the dust, not enough. Because dust has a problem, it makes other people's clothes dirty. You're not supposed to make other people's clothes dirty. You're supposed to cleanse their clothes, right? You know what you should become? He says, हर जन ऐसा चाहिए जो पानी सर्बांग. Don't become dust, become water. Water cleanses other people's clothes, cleanses itself, and cleanses other people too, but does not judge other people and make them even more miserable. But in the last line, he negates that also. He says, Kabir, pani hua tha kya paya, sira tata hoye. If you become water, you don't have any ego, you are not an obstruction in somebody's path, you're not making anybody's clothes dirty, you're cleansing them, but there is a flaw still there. You could sometimes become very cold and sometimes very hot. The temperament is still there. He says, Harjan aisa chahiye jaisa har hi hoye. Harjan, a servant of the Lord, should be like the Lord. It just means that if you keep on traveling on this path, if you are able to let go of the ego, you don't become an obstruction on anybody's path. You cleanse other people's clothes, but also watch out inside. You should sometimes be warm-hearted, sometimes cold towards your bad habits, but warm towards other people. Because this is what spirituality is about. It keeps on escalating. As we read in Japji Sahib, Guru Sahib says, E tara pat pavdiyan, chadiye hoye ikish. You become one with the Lord. So when you start traveling, it is a beautiful journey. Everyone must experience it. But never stop. Never think I've done it, I've got it all. No. And love the way Kabir Sahib says one line and then he negates it to keep on going and showing us spirituality never stops at any point. It keeps on improving itself. Thank you so much for listening. Ji, apologies for the mistakes. Gur Fateh, Sat Sri Akal, Salam, Namaste. Thank you so much. See you again.